The scariest movie you'll ever hear is falling on deaf ears, and that's a problem.
You hear something?
Undertone is the latest horror entry from A24, and despite the marketing, there are so many just undercooked sequences and bad plot devices that I'm honestly surprised that Jason Blum from Blumhouse didn't make this himself.
Are you implying there was hidden messages in it?
Let me play it back in reverse.
Oh wait, that's right, he just tapped the writer and director of Undertone to helm the next Paranormal Activity movie. God help us all.
We should stop listening.
In this spoiler-filled review, I'm going to talk about everything to do with Undertone. The plot, the good, the bad, the ugly, the missed marketing opportunities, the trailers, posters, everything, you name it. So strap in, we're going to get right into it. Welcome back to the Complete Guide to Horror. If you're new here, make sure you subscribe to us, you get a hello. And if you're already an existing subscriber, thank you very much, you get an extra hello.
Hello!
Now, I'm a big fan of new ideas in horror, especially when it comes to fresh talent, so imagine my surprise when this movie pops up in a form of a trailer. It got me intrigued, and so I sought everything out to do with this movie. I waited forever until it actually came to Australia, and I was left disappointed.
No, thank you.
Really? You sure?
So what is Undertone about? The A24 film, Undertone, is written and directed by Ian Tuason in his feature film directorial debut. It stars Nina Kiri as Evie, a woman who hosts a paranormal podcast with her friend Justin, played off-screen by Adam DiMarco, where she is the skeptic, or Scully, to his believer, or Mulder if we're talking X-Files terms. Evie and Justin are sent recordings of a married couple experiencing paranormal noises in their home, drawing Evie into fear and paranoia. Now, first things first, the only characters we actually see on screen are that of Evie and her mother. Every other character is heard off screen, and this really adds to the whole creepy sound design element, so keep that in mind. And I'll admit, it was actually pretty fantastic with the sound design. Undertone initially premiered at the Fantasia International Film Festival back in July 2025, and it was finally released in Australia and UK cinemas this month, whereas America has had this since March. Bastards. The film received positive reviews from critics, but audiences are saying the opposite. Some are giving this movie a C rating, and many are flocking to social media to talk about how they felt let down by this movie, and saying that it's just not as scary as they were promised it would be. There are so many divisive opinions on this movie, but what actually happens in Undertone? Well, I'm here to spoil it for you. The film starts in the home of Evie, played by Nina Kiri, who is caring for her sick mother, Evelyn, and sings lullabies to her like Baba Black Sheep. At around 2:30 a.m, Evie calls her friend Justin Manuel, voiced by Adam DiMarco, to start recording their weekly horror-themed podcast, The Complete Guide to Horror Movies. Just kidding, their podcast is called The Undertone. Evie is the skeptic as they discuss supernatural events, while Justin is the true believer, just like me. Before getting into the show, they talk about Evie's mother's condition, as well as how her boyfriend Darren, voiced by Ryan Turner, barely helps. Evie, you need to break up with this man right now. The duo starts their show, with Justin mentioning a viral video called I Feel Wonderful, which is just an image of a smiling woman that appears to slowly distort, and allegedly made over 90 people commit suicide. It's a nod to that I Feel Fantastic creepy-ass YouTube video. It's also a nod to creepypastas featuring smiles like Jeff the Killer and many others.
Okay, everybody, let's see some big smiles. Just relax and let the hooks do their work.
What the hell are you smiling at?
Justin then sends Evie an email containing 10 audio files that was sent to him from an anonymous source, each one featuring a couple named Jessa and Mike. They play the first audio clip, which is of Mike recording Jessa talking and singing London Bridge in her sleep. And no, not the Fergie song. The second file has Jessa sleepwalking and playing the same song in reverse. When Justin plays it again, it sounds like Jessa whispering, "Mike, kill all." This prompts Justin to search up Eleanor of Provence, who played a role in the construction of London Bridge and lost all 9 of her children. It was said that she feared the bridge would collapse, so she ordered orphans to be buried within the foundation. He then looks up Bar Black Sheep for hidden meanings, learning of the dark meaning of the song itself. Justin plays the third audio file, where Jessa wakes Mike up after hearing something. It turns out to be the water running. Evie starts to feel unsettled by the background noises, believing they are coming from her own home. Evie and Justin end their episode for the night and agree to continue in a few days. The next day, Evie wakes up with morning sickness and later schedules an appointment. Evelyn's nurse shows up and tells Evie that her breath is making the death rattle noise, hinting that her time is coming. Throughout the week, Evie has to take extra care of her mother, from cleaning her up after she shits herself to helping her back into bed after she falls out. Stupid old bitch. In one of her drawers, Evie finds a creepy crayon drawing of some kind of evil woman. At night, Evie listens to the file of Bar Black Sheep that Justin sent her and plays it in reverse, hearing something that sounds like "look and lick the blood off." Evie also gets a call from a doctor confirming that she is 6 weeks pregnant with Darren's baby, but she says she will hold off on making any decisions regarding the pregnancy just yet. Weird things start happening in the house, like lights flickering, strange noises, and a statue of the Virgin Mary showing up when Evie tries to keep it out of sight. Evie and Justin start the next episode of their podcast by moving on to the 4th and 5th audio files. The 4th one has Jessa playing with a creepy doll that says things like, "I like it here in the dark," which disturbs Mike but also reveals that the couple were expecting a child. Later in the clip, the couple are woken up by what sounds like a loud thumping sound, something that Evie speculates is just faulty plumbing.
It's faulty plumbing. It's an old house. There's probably a blockage in the pipes or something.
Hold on. Just before the banging, did you hear something?
The 5th file has Jessa saying something backwards repeatedly, which terrifies Mike. Once again, Evie decides to end the episode there. Evie investigates the audio files and plays the backwards message in reverse, discovering that a voice, not Jessa, but something else is saying, "Come in, Abizu." She and Justin learn that Abizu is a mythical demon, the so-called patron saint of cursed mothers, who targeted women with children as a result of her not being able to have her own offspring. She would cause horrible things like miscarriages or force mothers to murder their children.
Locals claimed that a woman who worshipped the statue killed her husband for cheating and then killed their baby.
Justin plays the 6th audio file. Mike is heard asking Jessa if she remembers anything from the night before, but she doesn't. Justin says he sees overlapping voices in the file as Jessa talks. They play the 7th file, where a baby crying can be heard over Jessa snoring, and Mike is unsettled. Jessa then lets out a frightening scream, telling Mike she thinks there is something by the kitchen sink, but he says there's nothing there. Evie assumes it's just the neighbor's baby. Justin tries to email the sender of the files, but the message bounces back. Even though he's starting to feel creeped out as well, Evie makes Justin play the 8th file. Jessa is heard waking Mike up because of the banging sound in the walls again. Bar Black Sheep is heard playing clearly until it cuts out and features more baby noises.
Black sheep, have you any wool? Yes sir, 3 bags full.
And Jessa screaming again because she thinks she saw something horrifying. Justin finds out that there were 2 cases of people obsessed with Kamin Abizu being played backwards, leading the first woman to kill her children, and the second to commit suicide in the hospital while being 5 months pregnant. Awful shit. Justin wants to trash the episode because he thinks they have taken things too far, but Evie insists they continue, and Justin reluctantly agrees. Evie goes back upstairs to check on her mother. She tells Evelyn about her pregnancy, but admits she doesn't feel fit to be a mother. Suddenly, the light in Evelyn's bathroom appears to turn on by itself, and when Evie goes to check this out, Evelyn slowly rises up out of bed. Later, Evie thinks that she hears her mother saying something, but she's unresponsive when Evie tries to talk to her again. Evie and Justin begin the final part of their episode with the last 2 audio files, with viewers encouraged to call on air. Evie declares she thinks that Jessa and Mike just created a hoax for attention. Justin plays the 9th audio file, where Jessa is heard crying about seeing a shadow before turning into twisted laughter until it abruptly cuts out. The first call comes through, and a man's voice says that Jessa and Mike were his neighbours, who were found dead at the bottom of their stairs with plastic bags over their heads and dead babies drawn all over the walls.
And you're sure this is the same Mike and Jessa we're talking about?
Jessa, she was 5 months pregnant.
Another caller rings and says that a woman from her childhood rented out her family home's basement and would play children's songs backwards before later getting arrested for killing her baby. What the fuck?
My daddy went down to check, and the lady, she was swinging a garbage bag against the furnace. My daddy stopped her and he looked inside the bag, and then at the bottom, it was her baby.
Justin hesitates to play the final audio file, but Evie urges him to do so.
I don't want to.
Justin, it's too late. Play it.
In it, Jessa says that she is listening and that she needs to warn her, presumably talking about Evie. Mike follows her and she mentions licking the blood off. The file stops and then starts up with distorted lullabies. Jessa is heard screaming again and even says, "Justin, I'm so cold," which deeply disturbs Justin.
She said Justin.
It was you.
No, Evie, no, what?
You're behind this, aren't you?
Another caller comes through, demanding to speak to Mary. Mary is the name that Evie considered for her child.
I'd like to speak with Mary.
Who is this?
I'd like to speak with Mary. I'd like to speak with Mary.
Evie.
I'd like to speak with Mary. I'd like to speak with Mary.
Justin, hang up.
I'd like to speak with Mary.
A 4th caller rings and says that they shouldn't have listened to the tapes because Abizu lurks in the 10th file and waits for her victims to hear her. A final caller, named Abby, asks Evie and Justin for help with her crying baby. The duo then hear what sounds like Abby drowning her baby. Evie tries to get through to Abby by saying that she killed her own mother by avoiding her prayers, trying to convince Abby she is good.
I killed my mother. My mommy.
Abby sobbing then turns into malicious laughter.
It's too late.
The two are then plagued by distorted noises, and their call gets cut out. Evie sees creepy images around the house, like drawings of Abizu all over the walls, and the "I Feel Wonderful" video turning into a terrifying face. She goes upstairs and sees Evelyn emerging from the bathroom, while brief flashes of a victim with a bag over their head, strongly implied to be Evie, are seen. The film cuts to black as Evie can be heard screaming and calling for Justin, saying she is cold. Evie's voice then distorts and starts repeating "Come in, Abizu" backwards. It's a very abrupt ending to a very unusual film, and it's just not something that I was very pleased with. So now that you know what happens in Undertone, let's talk about what it actually gets right. For starters, the audio is the biggest driver of this film, and it's no surprise that it gets singled out by critics for praise. Everything from the creepy reverse songs to the foley to the dialogue is just handled with precision and care. It never ever reaches, say, the annoyingly loud pitch of the recent Whistle movie, or things that have like a stupid ass jump scare like Sinister, for instance. The actors deserve praise too, Evie in particular, as she's one of the only people shown on screen, as mentioned earlier, but she really embodies her character with such terror and increasing paranoia and complex emotions, and it must be hard to carry the weight of this film on your shoulders, but I think she does fantastic, especially as she's getting more traumatized throughout each part of the movie. Plus, can you imagine dealing with a pregnancy, a shitty boyfriend, and having to care for your sick mother? I mean, that's trauma on its own.
It's a movie about trauma. It's a movie about trauma. The movie is about trauma.
Adam DiMarco is fantastic too. It's difficult to convey terror through just audio, and he excels. The cinematography in this movie too, overall, is great. The use of shadows, light, negative space, framing, and composition will make even eagle-eyed horror fans look for something creepy on screen at all times. It helps build the paranoia and suspense for when the scares happen. There's a few scenes that actually got under my skin, including one where Evie is actually hovering over her mother, and you see the light in the bathroom turn on in the background. It's great suspense building, and has that what the fuck just happened feeling. I saw this too as a callback to Paranormal Activity, where the light in the background turns on, and we're waiting with bated breath to see what happens or appears. The audio files themselves are creepy and unnerving, especially the backmasking parts, where it's creepy children chanting shit like lick the blood off and making audiences questioning whether some noises are happening in just the audio files or if it's actually happening in Evie's house. Now for the negatives. Number 1, the overall story is just not good enough. I couldn't wrap my head around the whole twist of Evie supposedly killing her own mother and then she gets killed by the mother, but she's the one that killed her. Then possession or not, it just doesn't make any fucking sense. I also just felt it was a poor conclusion to the movie. And look, side note, as a podcaster myself, I just thought it was so hilarious that Evie and her co-host just kept recording this one episode in small parts. Like, girl, do you actually want a successful podcast or not? Jesus Christ. Speaking of Jesus, the use of religious iconography was good, but it felt too overdone by the time we actually got to the conclusion. Plus, if we're talking about Jesus, Mary, and demons, I was expecting some element of the Christian or Catholic faith to play a bigger role in a good versus evil theme, but nothing really came from that. The opening scene too felt very disconnected from the rest of the movie. I don't know why they actually set that up. Instead, what I think they should have done to really have that scare factor and drive up some paranoia and creepiness is actually play one of the backmasking files where it's like the creepy children chanting or something. They could have used Stairway to Heaven, for instance, because that shit is creepy as fuck. If you don't know what I'm talking about, what happens is, if you play a portion of Stairway to Heaven backwards, you get this. This would have kicked off the Undertone film with a scene that really creeps out viewers. Likewise, they could have also just played Woman's World by Katy Perry, because I mean, listen to this song backwards. It's terrifying. Even worse, if you play Woman's World the normal way, you have to listen to a song by Katy Perry. Now that's scary. There's good and bad in this movie, just as there's good and bad in the marketing and the posters and the trailers, etc. So I want to touch base on all of that. The Dolby poster is simple. It's designed for audiophiles to convince them that this is an audio experience. But in my opinion, they needed to add Evie to this poster to bring that human element to it. Likewise, the main poster, which features the upside down cross as an audiophile, is good, but we've seen this inverted cross be done to death already, especially with M. Night Shyamalan's Devil and the Conjuring franchise. It's just not exciting anymore. There's also this poster of Evie and her mother, with the original title, The Undertone. But this doesn't convey the movie properly either. They should have taken an approach to another poster design where it's an audio file or the whole list of audio files and the image of the smiling woman. Think of the poster for Unfriended where it's the search bar. As for the trailer, while I'm thankful it doesn't give too much away, they did spoil one of the key scenes in the final act, so in my opinion they should have removed the scene of the smiling woman on the TV and instead just used a short clip from when Evie and the co-host mentioned that specific urban legend to tie into the whole cursed audio aspect without spoiling the final act. Another trailer idea could have been ripped straight from the 2005 film White Noise. Instead of actually talking about the movie, for instance, they just talk about the phenomena of EVP, which is also electronic voice phenomena, which was the main point of that film. But for the trailer for that film, they talk about real life cases.
It is the voice of Ruth Baxter. This voice was recorded in August 2003. Ruth Baxter died in 1987.
So theoretically, they could have done the same for Undertone, where they look at hidden messages through backmasking. They could have used the Stairway to Heaven example. They could have used a whole multitude of other different examples so that you still get the point of what Undertone is, which is looking at creepy messages in kids' songs, but they could have used real life examples. And that's how they create tension and they actually create hype without spoiling the plot. On top of the trailers and posters, A24 had a severe missed opportunity that I'm surprised they didn't do. What I think they should have done was create a tie-in podcast series that could have also been called Undertone or The Undertone, where it talks about creepy internet urban legends or backmasking in songs, something to really drive up a mystery and hype. Plus, it would have been a very unique and interactive marketing stunt that would have captured people who love going on TikTok and YouTube and Instagram, finding creepy stories, things like that. It's just such a missed opportunity. This would have been huge. I also want to address that tagline that built a lot of overhype and just over-exaggerated expectations for this movie. So the tagline is, the scariest movie you'll ever hear. And it's not that at all. They needed to change this tagline to something that's more in line with the actual film's scare factor. So something like, you'll never forget what you heard in Undertone, because it doesn't necessarily build too much overhype. You're just left wondering, oh, well, what's actually in this film? The easy idea could have been, the term hear no evil, see no evil, speak no evil. They should have done hear no evil, but then crossed out the no, so it's hear evil. Simple and effective. For my final verdict, I am going to give Undertone 5 out of 10. I think that it's good, but it was seriously lacking in scares, and the ultimate execution of its story just falls flat towards the end. I've had friends give this movie 5 stars. I've also had other friends say this is the worst horror movie they've ever seen. They give it 1 out of 10 or 0 out of 10, but I disagree with all of those views. To me, this is just very average, so 5 out of 10 fits. This movie does have merits, but I don't think it necessarily warrants you running to the cinema right now to go and watch it. I mean, unless you have that Dolby surround experience that they talk about on the posters. Otherwise, if you really want to see this, maybe save it for like a cheap Tuesday ticket, or if you've got a birthday voucher, something like that. Don't spend full price on this movie. Honestly, just wait till streaming. Thank you for watching. We have plenty of other film reviews, rankings, meme screams, and everything in between. Everything from Final Destination to Saw to Chucky, Scream, you name it, we've covered it. Make sure you subscribe, and if you're already subscribed, thank you very much. I leave you now with a creepy compilation of hidden messages that are in some of the most popular songs of all time when played backwards. Can you decipher the hidden meanings? Let me know in the comments.
Chicago.
I love this song.
I command you in the name of Lucifer to spread the blood of the innocent.